Mike has opened several businesses in Columbia, Tennessee, despite the crime rate. Mike, 60, owns Columbia Motor Alley, 2 Lanes Guest House, and other businesses in Columbia, Tennessee. In exclusive photos obtained by the U.S. Sun, an arrest took place right outside of Columbia Motor Alley while Mike was socializing with customers. In the photos, officers from the City of Columbia Police Department could be seen arresting a man right outside of the bike shop on November 3. The arrest took place just feet away from Mike, as he could be seen driving a motorcycle to show customers the impressive ride. Maury County Courthouse is just up the block from Columbia Motor Alley and across the street from 2 Lanes Guest House. According to Neighborhood Scout, Columbia has a total crime index of 13, with 100 being the safest. The website reads, "The crime rate in Columbia is considerably higher than the national average across all communities in America from the largest to the smallest. Although at 27 crimes per 1,000 residents, it is not among the communities with the very highest crime rate. The chance of becoming a victim of either violent or property crime in Columbia is 1 in 37. Based on FBI crime data, Columbia is not one of the safest communities in America. Relative to Tennessee, Columbia has a crime rate that is higher than 84% of the state's cities and towns of all sizes. The U.S. Sun has previously reported on Mike's $93 million project in Columbia. According to property records, Mike has purchased 7 commercial properties in Columbia. The project is costing $93 million, a source previously told the U.S. Sun. The town is happy Mike is taking this on to help bring new life to Columbia. According to property records, one commercial property is 4,320 square feet and valued at $214,100. The property is rented out to Hazelwood Laboratories, as their business description reads, boutique music systems for hospitality and home. Mike also became the owner of a 2,900 square foot property with a value of $192,700. Muletown Coffee rents out the space. Another commercial property is 4,653 square feet and is appraised at $336,300. The space is a drama theater called Packard Playhouse. Mike also owns a commercial property rented out to Trek Bicycle Store Columbia. The space is worth $464,400 and is 6,279 square feet. The square footage includes an upstairs apartment Mike rents out called 2 Lanes Guest House. The U.S. Sun previously reported the American Pickers star charges $275 a night from Friday to Sunday and $200 a night from Monday to Thursday. During holidays, including Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, the price is $425 a night. Additional fees include a $100 cleaning fee, $25 per person if more than 2 guests stay at the location, a 14.25% lodging tax, and a security deposit. The lodging features 1 bedroom with a king bed, a couch that pulls out a queen bed, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a washer and dryer. The space is filled with antiques picked by Mike himself. Mike said of the space on the website, "There's so much to see and experience here. I wanted to create a space that allowed visitors to experience the charms of staying on Main Street in a small town. One of my favorite things is to look outside the 13-foot windows at the 1905 courthouse and hear the clock in the tower on top of it chime every hour. You can walk downstairs into the street and see the shopkeepers preparing to open for the day. You can even smell the biscuits and bacon Puckett's is cooking up for breakfast." Mike bought former Chevrolet dealership Columbia Motor Alley, which was built in 1948, in November 2017 for $400,000. The estimated value is $717,400, and the building is a massive 13,440 square feet. A source close to Mike previously told the U.S. Sun. It used to be a car restoration building, and then Mike Wolf bought it. He has employees who work on bicycles and more in the garage section. Mike has his cars and motorcycles here on display. He has motorcycles, bikes, cars, and antiques he finds on the show. There is also a merchandise shop that sells shirts, hats, oil cans, mugs, and more goods. Outside of the store are 2 vintage gas pumps. There are also various vintage cars and motorcycles from Mike's personal collection on display, including a black Ford Model A red Porsche, a beige 1934 Ford Coupe, and an Indian motorcycle. Mike also hosts Columbia, coffee, and cars in the spring, summer, and fall months. According to property records viewed by the U.S. Sun, Mike also dropped $600,000 on a 976-square-foot property on September 15, 2022. The U.S. Sun previously reported the space will be a restaurant, as construction to the outside has been completed. The front of the restaurant has a wooden pergola with lights streaming from the beams. There are gray pavers under the pergola instead of concrete. The fire pit area also has pavers, and there's a brick bench for customers who want to sit around the fire. Opposite the brick fire pit are pavers that are elevated, which will be a stage for karaoke and performers. The outdoor area is lined with a black metal gate and brick planter boxes with shrubs. A source told the U.S. Sun at the time, it's going to be a restaurant. They are going to sell pizza, soda, that kind of stuff. Construction workers are building a stage for karaoke, a fire pit, and a pergola in front of the building. Just outside of the small town, Mike purchased a 3-bathroom, 3,166-square-foot home for $700,000 on May 20, 2022. The brick house features a wood deck, detached carport, cabana, utility building, porch, basement, and more amenities. But Mike may not be done buying properties, as the U.S. Sun obtained photos of him checking out a new commercial building back in November. The U.S. Sun previously reported Mike pitched filming a spin-off show about his Columbia project to history. Customers have complained about the antique store's bad conditions. Frank, 60, owns Frank Fritz Finds in Savannah, Illinois, which is 220 miles from Des Moines. Exclusive photos obtained by the U.S. Sun show the store's bad conditions, as the American Picker's alum continues to recover from a stroke he suffered in July 2022. Frank Fritz Finds is in the back room of a restaurant and bar called Hog Dogs. In one photo, the paint from the ceiling could be seen peeling off. There are even exposed wires from a hole in the wall. In another photo, the wooden floorboards could be seen sinking into the ground. Customers have complained about the store's conditions, including the cold temperatures and lack of lighting. One customer wrote on Google Reviews, "It was supposed to open at 10 a.m. When we went in, the lights were not on and antique sales lady was late," according to another worker. "She did open up the antique sales for us, which is not heated, so be prepared in the winter. Bar did have a cool feel, but was not prepared for us even by 10:30. There were a decent amount of actual antiques that were reasonably priced. Definitely cluttered." A second commented, "Could use more lights." A third wrote, "I was so excited to go. Until I got there, prices are high, low light, very disappointing." In November, the U.S. Sun showed more photos of the store's bad conditions. In one photo, the glass display case appeared to be stained, making it difficult to see the antiques inside. In another photo, thick cobwebs could be seen in the corners of the shop. There were even cobwebs on certain antiques. Throughout the store, antiques and shelves were covered in dust. The conditions were similar to photos exclusively obtained by the U.S. Sun in August, as cobwebs were seen on a vintage mannequin and on the windowsills. But the store did try to make improvements with construction being done to the outside of the building in August. The U.S. Sun has obtained new photos of the finished renovations in November. New windows could be seen for the floors above the store, giving the building a more modern look. The U.S. Sun previously reported on the annual sales of Frank Fritz Fines. Per Experian's business valuation report for Frank Fritz Fines, estimated annual sales are reportedly just $25,000. The company's business credit score is 27 and is medium risk. As for the financial stability risk ratings, the shop received a medium-high risk of 4 out of 5 rating. The report claims this means there is a 10% potential risk of severe financial distress within the next 12 months. Frank hasn't been as involved in the business since suffering a stroke in July 2022. His close friends filed an emergency appointment of a temporary guardian and conservator for the star on August 18, claiming his decision-making capacity is so impaired. The conservatorship papers exclusively obtained by the U.S. Sun revealed plans to revamp the store. The initial plan filed by conservator Midwestone Bank read, "Mr. Fritz is a well-known collector and has numerous outbuildings full of valuable collections. The conservator has not yet inventoried those items, but plans to leave them largely as they are now, with the exception of stocking Mr. Fritz's antique store in Savannah, IL as needed. Conservator is hopeful Frank will be able to participate in selection and pricing of items as he did previously." A source previously told the U.S. Sun Frank is walking again after the stroke left the right side of his body paralyzed. He remains in an assisted living facility to help with physical therapy, as he continues to have a long road to recovery ahead. Frank lost verbal and mobile, so that's where he has been. He is still in an assisted living facility, a source close to Mike Wolfe, Frank's former co-star on the show, claimed. The insider continued to allege that while Frank got his verbal back, working on mobility has been a struggle for the star. It's been very difficult for him to find motivation. He found the motivation to talk, but the physical therapy he's not there yet, the source claimed. But a second source close to Frank's loved ones claimed he is taking the recovery at his own pace. He's been working really hard to not overdo himself and stress himself out and honor his health, the second insider said. He's not overdoing it and trying to prove anything to himself. He's honoring what needs to be right now. He's just at the nursing home for physical therapy. I hope he bounces back. I have faith he will. The U.S. Sun can confirm it does not appear Frank is living full-time in his Davenport, Iowa farmhouse. Frank last appeared on American Pickers in March 2020.